Explorers. Today I'm going to read a nonfiction book to you guys. I love nonfiction because I love things that are actual and true and real. This book is a nonfiction book even though it looks like a picture book. And one of the ways that I can tell is if I look on the spine, down at the spine label, I see a Dewey Decimal Number. So I know that this is telling me this book is nonfiction. If I look at a regular fiction book and I look at its spine label, I don't see a Dewey Decimal Number. I see the author's last name. So that's one of the ways that you can tell something is fiction or nonfiction, by looking at its spine label. This book is called Harlem Grown, and it's written by Tony Hillery and illustrated by Jesse Hartland. Tony Hillery, the author, is actually the person that's featured in this story. So he wrote his own story about his own life, all right? Here we go. Once, in a big city called New York, in a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was an empty lot. Neva called it the haunted garden. It was cluttered with wrecked couches and old TVs, broken bottles, and empty cans. Once, in a big city, in a big bustling neighborhood, there was Neva's school, PS 175 it was called, and it sat across from the haunted garden. One day, a man came to PS 175, Mr. Tony, the kids called him. When Mr. Tony saw those kids in that haunted garden, he had an idea. What do you think his idea is? He began to clear the haunted garden, one piece of trash at a time. Soon, it was a clean slate, a blank canvas. Mr. Tony laid down new clean soil. He invited Neva to help. To water, Neva started to plant. Then she dug holes in the ground. Into the holes she placed her seedlings, and then she carefully covered them with dirt. Her friends came too. 400 seedlings went into the ground, one for each kid: basil, mint, cilantro, rosemary. Then the kids watered and weeded, and their plants began to grow. Once, when Neva came to the lot after school, her plant was wilted and sad. Well, we'll try again, said Mr. Tony. We'll plant something different. Wood, hammer, nails. Mr. Tony built raised beds for the plants. The kids tried again: peas, broccoli, mint, and eggplant. They watered and weeded. And at last, look at that, food. Tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, blueberries, strawberries, collard greens, kale, basil, and arugula. Mr. Tony watched and helped and smiled. More kids came from the neighborhood. They tended their plants, which grew and grew. Up came more fruits and vegetables. The kids took their green beans and carrots and cucumbers home to their families for dinner. In a bustling neighborhood called Harlem, there was a man with an idea. There were kids who wanted to help, and they made a farm. I'm going to read you the author's note. Dear reader, first things first, there is something that I want you all to know. I am no garden expert. I'll let you in on a bigger secret. I have killed more plants than I've been able to grow. I knew nothing about what it takes to grow a single plant, let alone start an entire farm, but I saw a problem that I wanted to fix. In 2001, I closed my company when the economy took a turn. I began to volunteer at PS 175 in Harlem. Like many in Harlem, the underfunded schools had no art or gym classes. At lunchtime, the students had so much pent-up energy, they would often find themselves in trouble. The blocks around PS 175 are a host of 55 fast food restaurants and 29 pharmacies, but not one single store in which to purchase healthy food. When I noticed the vacant lot across from the school, I had an idea to begin Harlem Grown. Now the kids and their parents, with support from Harlem Grown staff, grow thousands of pounds of fruits and vegetables each year, which they give to their neighbors and community free of charge. After school and on weekends, lots of kids flock to the garden to tend their vegetables and fruits. Incidences in the cafeteria decreased dramatically because of the farm encourages collaboration and patience. I realized that many of these students growing up in the concrete jungle didn't know where a tomato came from until they were introduced to Harlem-grown farms. Now they happily eat fresh fruits and vegetables because they are so proud to have grown them themselves. Originally, one garden plot on 134th Street of our urban farm has expanded into 12 sites across Harlem. It employs 22 full-time staff members who provide administrative support, additional crop maintenance, and go into schools to teach nutrition and sustainability, and most importantly, to mentor children daily. At Harlem Grown, the mentors are all young men and women from the community, and they work hard to teach and inspire kids about healthy eating while also studying hard to complete their education. The little patch where it all began still exists, and every summer the sweetest strawberries in all of New York City are grown and are eaten by the children who tend to their urban farms. Sincerely, Tony Hillery, founder and director of Harlem Grown. Boys and girls, I love this book so much. Tony is an amazing man who had a dream and he made it come true, and look at all the people that he helps. He is still alive today, and the gardens are still growing all over Harlem. Thank you. See you next time.